On the news around the world tonight, President Tinubu reaffirms commitment to war against drug trafficking. Governor Makinde extends curfew in 10 local government areas. U.S. pledges $100 million relief for Venezuela after earthquake. 2026 United Nations International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, with a renewed call for stronger collaboration among stakeholders to address the growing global drug problem. The event themed the world drug problem, persistent issues, new challenges, innovative responses, brought together government officials, health professionals, security agencies, educators, youth organizations, and members of the public to promote greater awareness of the dangers of drug abuse and the need for coordinated action. Staff reporter Olubunmi Lawal reports.
The 2026 United Nations International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking provided another platform for stakeholders to reflect on the evolving nature of the global drug challenge and the urgent need for collective action. Delivering the keynote lecture, Dr. Remi Oladele observed that while significant progress has been recorded in combating drug trafficking and substance abuse, emerging threats such as the proliferation of synthetic drugs, the misuse of prescription medicines, and the increasing use of digital platforms by drug traffickers continue to pose serious concerns. He stressed that these evolving challenges require innovative evidence-based responses that combine prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, and effective law enforcement. Dr. Ladele also highlighted the devastating consequences of drug abuse, including poor physical and mental health, family disintegration, school dropouts, unemployment, criminal activities, and reduced productivity. He urged young people to resist peer pressure and avoid experimenting with illicit substances, emphasizing that prevention remains the most effective strategy for tackling substance abuse.
Every parent, every ward, every guardian must know that it's their responsibility to train their children or everybody they are looking after and properly educate them about the menace of drug. And of course, this also extends to the community leaders, religious leaders, corporate organizations in the communities. We all have a way, one role or the other to play in terms of, educating people, working with us, people under us.
In his opening remarks, the Deputy Commander, Counseling, Treatment and Rehabilitation, DCN Ajano Kubabatoyin, described drug abuse and illicit trafficking as persistent threats to public health and national security. He noted that the emergence of digital platforms has created new dimensions to the drug problem, requiring stronger partnerships and innovative approaches to prevention and enforcement.
The fight against drug abuse is not a responsibility of one agency. It is required the collective effort on parents, teachers, faith leaders, healthcare professionals, community and organization, government institutions, and young people themselves.
In their separate goodwill messages, stakeholders called on governments at all levels to invest more in drug prevention programs, expand access to treatment and rehabilitation services, strengthen border security, and deploy modern technologies to disrupt organized drug trafficking networks. Sharing his personal experience, a rehabilitated victim of drug abuse cautioned young people against the use of hard drugs and urged them to be mindful of negative peer influence, noting that recovery is possible with determination and the right supports.
Those times that I was using the drugs, like a lot of people, like some of my friends, some of the good people that I have as a friend, that we do business together, they started putting me aside. From there, I lost a lot of good people. So I sold a lot of things, like some of my properties, before going to the rehab. But when I went to rehab, it wasn't easy, but alhamdulillah, thank God.
The event ended with a renewed commitment by stakeholders to strengthen collaboration in reducing drug abuse, supporting rehabilitation and promoting safer and healthier communities. Participants agreed that tackling the world drug problem requires sustained partnerships, continuous public education, and innovative strategies capable of addressing both long-standing and emerging challenges. Olubumi Lawal, BCOS News.
The International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking was observed on June the 26th, 2026, with renewed calls for collective action to combat drug abuse and illicit trade in narcotic substances. This year's theme, the World Drug Problem, Persistent Issues, New Challenges, Innovative Responses, highlights the need to confront emerging threats such as synthetic drugs and digital drug markets through evidence-based prevention strategies and people-centered interventions. Staff reporter Olubumi Lawal has more.
Countries across the world, Nigeria inclusive, joined the United Nations in commemorating the 2026 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking with renewed commitments to addressing the evolving global drug challenge. The observers focused on strengthening prevention, expanding access to treatment and rehabilitation, and adopting innovative approaches to tackle emerging threats, including synthetic drugs, online drug trafficking, and the misuse of prescription medicines. Speaking with BCOS News, Chairman of the Oyo State Drug Abuse Control Committee, Pharmacist Adewale Adebowale, said the committee, made up of representatives of relevant ministries, departments, and agencies, is intensifying public enlightenment campaigns to educate residents on the dangers of drug abuse and promote healthier lifestyles. He stressed that sustained awareness, early intervention, and stronger collaboration among stakeholders remain critical to reducing substance abuse, particularly among young people.
What we do, let me first appreciate the leadership of Oyo State in person of Engineer Oluseyi Makinde about the fund we always receive, especially for the control of drug abuse consequences and a lot of things that menace that we can get. So we do go to schools, colleges to make campaigns against this drug abuse because its consequences is so unpalatable that anybody can be victims.
In separate interviews, stakeholders described drug abuse as a major threat to public health, family stability, and national development. They advised young people to shun illicit drugs and resist negative peer influence, while calling on governments, communities, parents, religious organizations, and other stakeholders to strengthen collaboration in drug prevention, rehabilitation, and reintegration of recovering addicts.
The danger is enormous. Even among the family, you discover that it begins to throw some kind of reputation onto the family when they have a child who is into drug abuse and is misbehaving. So the family is seen in bad light, that you don't have a proper hold of the people that come from this home. So it's a reflection of the home, even though that home may be a very, very good home. But because the child has gone into the society, gotten influenced by peer pressure, then he affects the family. And it affects virtually everything. Everywhere that person is represented is affected.
I'm going to advise youth like me to abstain from taking hard drugs. Then the usage of drugs should always be by doctor's prescription, and avoid working with friends that are into hard drug taking.
The annual observance serves as a reminder that although the global drug problem continues to evolve, sustained partnerships, public awareness, and innovative, people-centered responses remain essential to building safer, healthier, and drug-free communities. Olubumi Lawal, BCOS News.
We shall now take a short commercial break. Please don't go away.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on malaria gone.
The joys of life are found in moments. Moments that makes us wonder, then fill our hearts with laughter. Moments we risk it all for a craving, but the reward makes it all worth it. Moments when you remind everyone of your greatness. Moments when you feel like you need a hero. Then you realize you're the hero you've always needed.
Collect 10 unique moments and win big in the My Indomie Moments promo.
You're welcome back. The Oyo State government has extended curfew in 10 local government areas by 24 hours. The State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, approved the extension in a memo made available by the Secretary to the Oyo State Government, Professor Musiba Babatunde. This was disclosed in a press release signed by Special Advisor Media to the Governor, Dr. Sulaiman Olaniwaju. It will be recorded that the state government had on Tuesday, the 23rd of June 2026, announced the 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. curfew in the 10 local government areas. The affected local government areas include Orire, Orilope, Irepo, Shaki West, Shaki East, Atisbo, Itesiwaju, Ishenyi, Olorunshogo, Atiba. With this extension, the curfew, which was to last for 48 hours in the first instance, will continue till Saturday, the 27th of June, 2026. An international agricultural research organization, the Consultative Group International Agricultural Research, CGIAR, has expressed its readiness to partner with the Oyo State government to identify challenges within agricultural value chains and develop science-driven evidence-based solutions capable of attracting investment and accelerating agricultural growth in the state. The chief scientist of CGIAR, Sandra Melak, made this known during a courtesy visit to the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde. Details are presented by the Governor's Office correspondent, Olalekan Sulaiman.
The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, hosted a high-power delegation of international agricultural experts at his private residence in Ibadan. The delegation, led by Director General of the Oyo State Agribusiness Development Agency, OISADA, Dr. Debo Akande, included the chief scientist of the Consultative Group on International Agricultural Research, CGIAR, Sandra Milaj, the Director General of the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, Dr. Simon Uwui, the Deputy Director General Research, IITA, Dr. Bernard Van Laui, and other officials of the organization. The visit was aimed at exploring areas of collaboration with the Oyo State government in agribusiness development, agricultural transformation, and food security. Briefing journalists after a closed-door meeting with Governor Makinde, CGIAR Chief Scientist Sandra Milaj reaffirmed the organization's commitment to supporting governments through innovative research, modern technologies, and strategic partnership designed to boost agricultural productivity and enhance food security. She stressed that sustainable agricultural transformation requires identifying critical bottlenecks across agricultural value chains and adopting science-based solutions to address them.
Sometimes you have technology, science, but the bottlenecks are in someplace else. How can we then understand what the bottlenecks are and how we help to do it? Is that in the processing? Is that in the infrastructure, in the roads? All those things I think are important for us to understand how we bring then that to that. And I think, there is a very important role for, the processing industry to also help, to farmers to adopt better varieties, right? Because I think they are at the end, they have to have a very clear proposition of which types of varieties they need, which types of cocoa they need, what types of, yields they are willing to achieve. That helps also us that pull from the processors help us to also to work with the farmers to say how do we then enable the farmers to attend to that.
Also speaking, the Deputy Director General, Research, IITA, Dr. Bernard Van Laoui, said the Institute has extensive expertise in cocoa and cassava development and is committed to supporting Oyo State's agricultural transformation agenda.
Oyo State is one of the major producers also investing in processing and value addition, and we talked about cocoa. So these are the two crops also that IIT has a lot of expertise in, and that we have agreed to develop plans together with the governor on how we can advance both value chains to the benefits of Oyo State.
The event was attended by the Executive Assistant to Governor Makinde on general duties, Chief Bayo Lawal, Olalekan Sulaiman, BCOS News.
Another time out, please stay tuned.
Confidence is important in life's little moments. Strong teeth can help, even if they get her into trouble sometimes. A great smile is useful to break the ice, and making friends is easier when you know you have fresh breath. I give my family confidence with Pepsodent Triple Protection 123. Its antibacterial action formula gives them cavity protection, white teeth, and fresh breath. Get whiter teeth with a new Pepsodent Natural Charcoal Toothpaste.
Wearing many hats takes a lot out of you. You always need all the nourishing goodness you can get. Especially if you're someone like me that is a foodie. The ultimate meal companion. A PhD student. Rich in B vitamins for focus. Yes, we all need it, because every side of you deserves to be nourished.
Come back. The Oyo State government has inaugurated the third assembly of the Oyo State Youth Parliament, charging the newly elected legislators to uphold dialogue, integrity, and accountability while championing policies that will positively impact young people across the state. The inauguration ceremony held in Ibadan also featured the election of principal officers of the parliament. Our reporter Folashade Akintola reports.
The inauguration marks another milestone in Oyo State's commitment to youth inclusion in governance, bringing together government officials, lawmakers, youth leaders, and other stakeholders from across the state. Delivering a keynote address on behalf of Governor Seyi Makinde, the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Musiba Babatunde, urged members of the Youth Parliament to place dialogue above divisions and ideas above sentiment in the discharge of their responsibilities. He congratulated the newly inaugurated members and expressed confidence that they will have a successful and impactful tenure.
Governor Seyi Makinde remains dedicated to creating opportunities for young people through education, skills development, entrepreneurship support, technology, sports, and meaningful participation in governance. We believe that when young people are empowered, society becomes stronger and the future becomes brighter.
In their goodwill messages, the governorship candidate of the Alliance People Movement, APM, Bimbo Adekombi, chairman of the House Committee on Youth and Sports, Honorable Adebisi Yusuf, representing Speaker of the Oyo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin, and Honorable Sikiru Sonda, encouraged the young lawmakers to remain connected to their constituency. They urged the legislators to work closely with the local government chairmen and elected representatives to initiate programs that will address the needs and aspirations of young people at the grassroots.
Somebody that is in the upper house of the legislature must be able to examine it and know that it's coming from a very sound place. The next government we are going to have in Oyo State, you can look at the succession. You know, it's been from older to youth, and Governor Makinde is about to hand over a youth to in 2027 that speaks your language, that knows innovation, that has had practical experience in putting structure in place to make sure that can measure what is in place, you know, and correct what needs to be corrected and give you opportunity.
Earlier, the chairman of the Oyo State Agency for Youth Development, Honorable Falana Adebayo, described the inauguration as a significant milestone in the state's drive to promote youth leadership and active participation in governance.
We want to appreciate him for this platform And I can clearly say today is historical. We've selected and inaugurated the third youth parliament. And I believe, as you can see, the executive arm and the legislative arm of the government, they are all here present to witness it. And those youths, they've seen that they are in the safe hand for better tomorrow.
Following the inauguration, Honorable Oyèkọ́lá Marvelous, representing Oyo East and Oyo West constituency, emerged as Speaker of the Third Oyo State Youth Parliament, while Honorable Afolabi Fatia, representing Ibadan Southwest constituency, was elected Deputy Speaker. In his acceptance speech, the Speaker appreciated Governor Seyi Makinde and other stakeholders for sustaining the Youth Parliament initiative, promising that members will remain committed to promote youth-centered legislation, advocacy, and development.
I sincerely appreciate every honorable member who has entrusted me with this mandate. Your confidence in me, in my leadership, is a privilege. I do not take it for granted. I accept this office with a firm commitment to serve with integrity, fairness, diligence, and unwavering dedication to the progress of the Parliament and the youth of Oyo State.
The inauguration of the third Oyo State Youth Parliament is expected to further strengthen youth participation in governance by promoting a platform for young people to contribute meaningfully to policy formulation, leadership development, and democratic governance in Oyo State. Among dignitaries at the event were the Honorable Olabi, Honorable Babajide Adebayo, Honorable Bernard Akika, Clerk of the Oyo State House of Assembly, Mrs. Taiwo Akweola, Chairman of Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Chief Mrs. Dotun Olaitan, as well as other government officials and youth stakeholders. Folashade Akintola, BCOS News.
The Federation of Muslim Women in Nigeria, Form 1, has unveiled plans for its 40th anniversary celebration with a week-long lineup of activities aimed at reflecting on the organization's contributions to societal development and empowering communities. The announcement was made during a courtesy visit by the leadership of Form 1 to the management of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, BCOS, at Ile-Akedorita, Bashoron, Ibadan. Leading the delegation, the Amira of Form 1, Dr. Lateef Dairo, said the visit was to further strengthen the long-standing relationship between the organization and BCOS, while also seeking the corporation's partnership in creating awareness for the anniversary activities. Dr. Dairo highlighted the contributions of Form 1 to national development through educational initiatives, orphanage services, women empowerment programs, and other humanitarian interventions that have positively impacted lives over the years. Speaking of the anniversary program, she explained that activities will commence with a press conference on July the 6th and culminate in a grand finale on July the 12th, 2026. She noted that the celebration would provide an opportunity to reflect on the organization's achievements over the past 4 decades and chart a new course for the future. Responding on behalf of the chairman of the BCOS, Chief Mrs. Dotun Olaitan, the General Manager, Mrs. Taiwo Adebowale, commended Form 1 for its contributions to community development and assured the organization of the corporation's continued support in promoting programs that foster social progress and public enlightenment. Mrs. Adebowale also appealed for prayers and collective efforts towards the safe release of the abducted teacher and students in Orire local government area. The courtesy visit was attended by members of the corporation's management team and officials of Form 1. Time for another short commercial break. Please stay with us.
The joys of life are found in moments, moments that makes us wonder, then fill our hearts with laughter. Moments we risk it all for a craving, but the reward makes it all worth it. Moments when you remind everyone of your greatness. Moments when you feel like you need a hero. Then you realize you're the hero you've always needed.
Collect 10 unique moments and win big in the My Indomie Moments promo.
Supramalt Multivitamin Active Teens. Supramalt Multivitamin Active Teens. Shine on.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique.
and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, enriched with 95% pure vitamin C and pulp extract. For visibly radiant and even-toned skin in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, for your shade of beautiful.
Thanks for being there. The Aresadu of Iresadu, His Royal Majesty Oba Abraham Olafimion Adeyeye Oyerinde, has appealed to Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, to intervene in what he described as the prolonged withholding of his official recognition, entitlements and privileges. At a press conference in Ibadan, the Monarch's Counsel, Stephen Raji, also alleged plans for officials of the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters to facilitate the emergence of a parallel traditional ruler, despite court judgments affirming the monarch's appointment. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdurrafi was at the NUJ Press Center, Yagonko, Ibadan, venue of the press conference, and now reports.
Counsel to the Aresadu of Iresadu, Barrister Stephen Raji, flanked by Chief Olubenga Ojetunde, said the press conference became necessary to draw public attention to what he described as persistent injustice against the traditional ruler, despite previous appeals to the state government. According to him, Oba Abraham Adeyeye was duly appointed as the substantive Aresadu of Iresadu in May 2019 and has remained the recognized occupant of the throne. Barrister Raji alleged that the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters issued a letter in September 2025 directing Surulere local government to begin the process of appointing another Aresadu, claiming the monarch had been removed by a court judgment. He, however, maintained that no such judgment exists, insisting that several court decisions, including judgments of the Oyo State High Court, affirmed the appointment of Oba Adeyeye and dismissed challenges to his emergence.
Chieftaincy declaration has been registered instead of this chieftaincy, making it a recognized ruling house chieftaincy. It no longer has a consenting authority. Rather, Aresadu of Iresadu itself becomes consenting authority to lesser minor chieftaincies. But shockingly, my client's representatives were informed that they needed to make representation to the Olugbon of Urilegbon so that his appointment can be recognized by government. This is disturbing. That is number one. Number two, the chairman of Surulere local government, to whom letters have been written from the ministry directing him to set in motion, stated that the instruction that he had from the superior in Ibadan has not yet been withdrawn. That letter is still there, directing him to set in motion the process of nominating another candidate for a chieftaincy that is not vacant.
The council further alleged that despite legal advice from the Ministry of Justice recommending that the monarch be accorded full recognition, the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters had failed to implement the advice. He also claimed that the continued withholding of the monarch's official recognition had created confusion within the community, encouraging unlawful activities and preventing the traditional ruler from carrying out his constitutional and traditional responsibilities. The legal representative expressed concern that the situation could undermine security and peaceful administration in Iresadu, particularly at a time when traditional rulers are expected to support government's efforts in maintaining law and order.
They wrote that on the Iresadu from the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, they wrote that His Excellency Governor Makinde has directed that every activity, every process on the Iresadu be stopped. When no such directive was given by government, we wrote to make inquiries as to how this letter came about, and the ministry wrote a response to deny the Zonda letter, that the letter never emanated from them, that they never knew who wrote those letters. But that letter actually flew out of the ministry, written to the chairman of Surulere local government to stop any Aresadu.
Among their demands, the Aresadu's representatives called on Governor Seyi Makinde to immediately approve the monarch's outstanding entitlements and official paraphernalia of office. They also urged the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters to withdraw the September 2025 letter allegedly directing the nomination of a parallel Aresadu and called for an investigation into officials accused of acts they described as abuse of office. The group further appealed to the governor to ensure that the monarch is allowed to perform the full functions of his office pending any lawful directive to the contrary. Adebayo Abdurafi, BCOS News.
Now to our sports desk.
Good evening, you're welcome to the sports segment of the evening news. My name is Toby Ajewale.
The National Sports Commission, NSC, and the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, have formed a 7-member welfare committee to support the Super Falcons during their 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations title defense in Morocco. The committee is chaired by NFF Executive Board member Aisha Falode, with Ruth David as secretary. Other members include Right Honorable Margaret Echin, Babagana Kali, Emeka Iyama, Aderunke Tinuoye, and Tobechukwu Oluchi. NSC Director General Honorable Bukola Olopade said the federal government was fully committed to ensuring the team has a smooth campaign free of financial disputes or distractions. He described player welfare as non-negotiable for the success at the tournament. Now the sport news. 3 African teams have advanced to the round of 32 at the expanded 48-team 2026 FIFA World Cup. Morocco finished second in Group C after a 4-2 win over Haiti and will face the Netherlands. South Africa made history by reaching the knockout stage for the first time, finishing second in Group A and set to play Canada, while Cote d'Ivoire progressed as runners-up in Group E and will face Group I runners-up. Egypt, Ghana, Cabo Verde, Algeria, Senegal and DR Congo remain in contention ahead of their final group matches. Tunisia became the only African team eliminated so far. Host Mexico, the United States, Germany, Argentina, France and several others have also qualified for the knockout stage. The tournament features 12 groups with the top 2 from each plus 8 best third-place teams advancing. And from the transfer scene, Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana is close to returning to Turkish club Trabzonspor on loan. Sources indicate the deal is approximately 90% done, with no option to buy included. The 30-year-old spent last season on loan at Trabzonspor, where he made 29 appearances and helped the club win the Turkish Cup. He still has 2 years remaining on his United contract. Finally, sport news tonight from tennis. American legend Serena Williams will launch a long-awaited singles return at Wimbledon against Australia's Maya Joint in the first round. The 7-time Wimbledon champion, now 44, received the wild card and has not played actively since the 2022 US Open. Britain's Emma Raducanu, seeded 30th, faces Croatia's Antonia Ruzic but missed practice on Thursday due to a shin injury. In the men's draw, Jack Draper meets 6th seed Taylor Fritz, while Novak Djokovic opens against Wu Yibing. World number 1 Yannick Sinner begins against Mirma Kekmanovic as he defends his title. Carlos Alcaraz misses the tournament with a wrist injury, and defending women's champion Iga Swiatek faces Taylor Townsend.
And that will be all. And it's back to news around the world. My name is Toby Ajewale.
The United States has announced a major emergency assistance package worth $100 million to support Venezuela following the devastating earthquakes that struck the country during a large-scale humanitarian crisis. Foreign desk editor Folashade Akintola compiled the story and others as presented by Bimbo Akambi.
According to the U.S. State Department, the aid package includes $100 million for United Nations Humanitarian Fund established to assist earthquake victims, while an additional $50 million will be directed to humanitarian organizations already providing emergency relief on the ground. In addition to financial support, The United States is deploying specialized disaster response teams, including urban search and rescue units, to help locate survivors trapped beneath collapsed buildings. The U.S. is also providing aircraft, logistics, and coordination support to transport emergency personnel and life-saving supplies into the affected areas. The announcement comes as international rescue efforts continue to expand.
We took over Venezuela in less than 1 day, and the oil is flowing, and we're getting along with them great. We're going to, by the way, help them with their they had a tremendous earthquake last night that you read about, massive in Caracas, but we're going to help them out.
Meanwhile, the death toll from the two powerful earthquakes that struck Venezuela has climbed to 589, while 2,980 people have been injured, according to acting President Delcy Rodriguez. Rescue operations are continuing around the clock. Operational teams arrived to assist local emergency responders in the search for survivors. A contingent of 80 Swiss rescue specialists and a Mexican humanitarian team are among the first international responders already on the ground, joining the Venezuelan crews in the affected areas.
The only thing I can say is that I have my heart in my hands and I don't know what to do. I ask God for all of us, because this is something that where you see that, nothing. I don't know where he is.
When the earthquake started, I clung as tightly as I could to the doorframe.
Emergency workers searched throughout the night in collapsed buildings across Caracas and the coastal state of La Guaira, where survivors have reportedly been heard calling for help from beneath the rubble. Russia has reported that it downed 660 drones overnight as Ukraine maintains a barrage that is straining Russian air defenses and energy infrastructure. The number of drones reported shot down by Russia's Ministry of Defense on Friday marks one of Kiev's biggest launches of long-range strikes. Ukraine's campaign of massive drone strikes inside Russia and on the Crimean Peninsula has led to security fears and fuel shortages. That has stoked concern that Moscow may try to pull ally Belarus into the conflict launched when it invaded Ukraine in February 2022. The latest wave of Ukrainian drones saw Russia intercept unmanned aircraft over 13 regions, including the capital Moscow and the illegally annexed Crimean Peninsula, as well as the Black and Azov Seas. Bimbo Akombi, BCOS News.
To end the news around the world, here again are the main points. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to tackling substance abuse and illicit drug trafficking through evidence-based and innovative interventions. The Oyo State government has extended curfew in 10 local government areas by 24 hours. On the foreign scene, the United States has announced a major emergency assistance package worth $100 million to support Venezuela following the devastating earthquakes that struck the country during a large-scale humanitarian crisis. BCOS television is now on Niger Television app, and you can watch us from any part of the world. Also, BCOS website is live. Kindly visit www.bcostv.com. You can also reach us on GoTV channel 134 and channel 113 on Star Times. And now, before I go, if you see something suspicious, alert the authority for timely response. Be vigilant. And that ends the news around the world. On behalf of the news crew, I say thank you very much for watching. Good night. Please listen to this public service announcement. Oyo State Ministry of Health announcement on mass burial Oyo State government has observed the rising number of unclaimed corpses across all the public hospitals, mortuaries in the state. These unclaimed corpses were brought by the police, Federal Road Safety Corps, and from Federal Correctional Service Centers. These corpses have caused severe congestion, and the mortuaries are now at full capacity. Therefore, the general public and those with missing relatives are advised to come forward to identify these corpses, after which a mass burial will be conducted within 7 days of this announcement. Announcer Dr. Oluwaserimi